Good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many friendly faces in the audience, and I'm really thrilled to be here with Secretary Marshall. And let me just say that Elaine Marshall has been one of the real leaders in the state in forging these global bonds, and so she's a real hero to all of us. So I'm thrilled to be here with her today. So what is this blueprint all about, and why does it matter? How do we make the most of global opportunities? How do we position North Carolina for global success? This blueprint is a framework to coordinate global efforts among education, business, government, and community leaders to really amplify our work. And I've traveled around this state a lot, in the country and the globe, and no other state in the nation has ever attempted this kind of real strategic focus on global engagement. North Carolina is the first. So how did we get here? The Coalition for Global Competence has been together since 2013. This past year, we worked really hard to get input from as many people as we could to help build this blueprint for global engagement. And here's what we did. The Coalition held 5 regional meetings around the state to solicit ideas and feedback in Charlotte, the Triad, Wilmington, here at SAS, and Greenville. We heard a lot of enthusiasm for statewide strategy and got lots of great ideas. We heard from hundreds of North Carolinians through an online survey as well, and held dozens of one-on-one conversations with thought leaders throughout the state. So well over 200 North Carolinians have contributed to the blueprint. Secretary Marshall, you've been involved with this from the beginning, so please tell us a bit why you think it's important.
Thank you. What a tremendous day and program. It's thrilling to be at the table with so many North Carolina leaders committed to preparing our state for the global economy. What we're really talking about today is resilience and adaptability. It's about being smarter in pursuing global opportunities in North Carolina. It's about diplomacy, education, global citizenship, as well as business success, because they all intersect when you're talking about the larger world beyond our state line or America's national border. I've traveled to many countries representing North Carolina as Secretary of State, and I have received trade, cultural, and diplomatic delegations from even more countries at my office. What I've learned makes great common sense. The people from these other nations who are interested in doing trade with us also want to know us. They want us to know them. To most people in the world, doing business is a part of their greater way of life, and they want to do business with North Carolina. We need to keep in mind that greater global trade requires greater global understanding and diplomacy. We cannot expect great results in one part of that equation without similar results in the other parts of it.
So now for a little bit on the nuts and bolts of this plan. The blueprint guides us towards 3 goals: understanding and pursuing global opportunities inside and outside of North Carolina, preparing the next generation to be resilient and adaptable, promoting North Carolina globally as a great place to invest, study, work, visit, partner with, and live. Elaine's going to talk about how we're going to reach those goals.
The blueprint includes 6 strategic areas of focus. Jean and I will share the job of describing each of the 6. So let's begin. The first strategic focus is leadership. This is the lead, follow, or get out of the way moment you have whenever you're looking at a big challenge. There is a role for the first 2 of those when it comes to growing North Carolina's global connections. At times, certain government agencies and certain companies are going to be the leaders in developing stronger connection. That gives the follower role to others to support them in their efforts. I would argue that in this day and age, the get out of the way option is not an option at all for any company or state. Looking at this issue across the years, research shows state-level international activities are often poorly coordinated across state agencies and sectors, which leads to difficulties and a failure to obtain full value from the efforts extended within state government or full value for our partners outside of state government. That's where leadership comes in, and we have some good examples. Our colleges and universities are doing a great job of expanding their international ties, and we're hearing a great case of that happening here today. We all need to support those efforts. North Carolina state government has trade offices located around the world to help facilitate new levels of trade. An excellent case in point for leading that many of you may not know about is the General Assembly International Business and Trade Caucus. This is an effort from a group of legislators who work hard to keep their fellow members of the General Assembly in the know on what laws and policies are needed to give North Carolina businesses a stronger presence in the global exchange of goods and services. I, for one, certainly want to thank them for their leadership because it helps us with the next key point. Strategic focus number 2, global brand identity. I know this sounds like the biggest and most abstract of the 6 points, but interestingly enough, I believe it's the one that every person here can do the most about. Almost every single person in North Carolina today can be an ambassador for this state. Thousands of internationals come to North Carolina every year for sightseeing and relaxation, for education and training, research, high-tech manufacturing, and for a variety of other reasons. What impression will they have when they go back home? I hope it's one where they remember their time here as one of the best experiences of their life. The experiences that international people have with us becomes our global brand identity. Every single person in this room who's traveled could, in a word or in a phrase, tell someone else how they felt about any country they visited, friendly or unfriendly, open and engaging, or closed and unwelcoming. What will they say about North Carolina? Our personal state brand identity is the underpinning for attracting visitors, attracting investment, solidifying comprehensive messaging, establishing best practices, and establishing shared approaches to reach economic success.
Our number 3 focus area is global infrastructure and logistics. And that's not just about roads, bridges, transportation, and ports, although that's critically important. And I'll tell a story. About 3 to 5 years ago, the port in Wilmington called upon some shipping companies and was able to secure a line of shipping from the port of Wilmington to the port of Cortez in Honduras. And ever since that shipping line opened, North Carolina was now exporting more yarn, thread, and other apparel-related products into Central America more than we export to China. And so those are real opportunities for the state to improve and do more around infrastructure. But of course, infrastructure just isn't about roads and bridges. It's about broadband, because all of us know that global connectivity is really what drives businesses and education these days. And so, strangely enough, 1 year ago today, I became the leader of an amazing organization here in North Carolina called MCNC. Long before Google arrived and long before anybody even knew what was going on, MCNC had high-speed gigabit fiber in the ground in 82 of the 100 counties in North Carolina. And that means we're able to serve all 115 school districts, all 58 community colleges, the universities, public and private, public health, public safety. And so this network runs through North Carolina, and it really is the driver of how our students get globally connected and make those strides in being a global citizen, and how our businesses in big cities and small towns are able to connect to the world and really be vibrant economic places. And so that's what's important about global infrastructure to look at. The number 4 focus area, something near and dear to my heart, global economic development. And so this state has a long history of reaching out. This state has had overseas offices since the 1990s, again, long before anybody thought it was a good idea for us to be talking to the Chinese. And when Lenovo came here in 2005, it was the largest Chinese investment ever made in America, and that is because we in North Carolina understand that business and job creation is about relationships. It's about traveling us overseas. It's about meeting with folks. It's about building trust and building those relationships that lead to business. So as I look out in this room and I see people like Jim Nichols and I, who he was just here, we have stayed up late at night singing karaoke in Japan. Peter Thornton and John Loyak, we've eaten chicken feet in China. Millie and Leslie, we have eaten grasshopper in Mexico. And why do we do that? Because we know that it's those relationship building experiences that allows us to create a dynamic global business environment. And what global trade means is jobs right here in North Carolina. And so that's why that's important to focus on.
Strategic focus number 5, cross-cultural competence. From the business perspective, this means 2 things. How do I get my products and services into the global marketplace, and how do I get paid for it? An understanding of international business will disclose strangers don't do business with each other in some locations. It's friends who do business with each other. This means international counterparts want us to experience their culture through food, art, music, history, social activities, and any other human experience. Friendships developed through shared experiences are often a prerequisite to business conversation. And unfortunately, it's easy to become the inadvertent ugly American through off-putting cavalier conversation and a failure to respect the culture of a nation or her people. The big picture here is we need to keep exposing North Carolinians to the greater world. Role reversal is a tremendous teaching experience. One of the most important things I did in my life as a young adult was to leave the confines of my small rural farming community and live in Brazil for 7 months. As a young adult, I was willing to try almost anything. I'll never forget the moment when I was handed a food item considered a treat, and everyone just stood around and watched how I handled it. I didn't know if I should peel it and eat the inside, if I should peel it and eat the peel, or I should just dismantle it totally. Well, it was actually a cashew, which is a fruit in Brazil, and the seed grows outside the pear-like fruit and hangs from the bottom of the fruit. To Brazilians, the fruit is the delicacy. To us, the cashew seed or nut is the delicacy. Living in Brazil totally changed my perspective, something that obviously affected my career in the decades since. People from many countries are living in North Carolina, bringing their native language and their native culture with them. When someone perceives their behavior as strange or out of the ordinary, we as people need to understand it may be based upon necessity from their country of origin. It's even more important for young North Carolinians today to gain more firsthand knowledge of other countries and nations. And we can do it without ever getting on an airplane, by just enjoying those cultures among us. The final area of strategic focus is number 6, research and collaboration. We have great stories and examples of this being told today at this event. But the bottom line here is no one nation, no one people can be expected to fix the world's problems. No one culture or nation can solve all the diseases, the environmental problems, the conflicts, and the challenges that directly affect billions of human beings living on the earth today. It's very simple. We enjoy more success when we build partnerships. This strategy is good for humanity. I can cite 2 examples from a project near to my heart, the North Carolina-Moldova partnership. Moldova is Europe's poorest country. It sits in the far southeast corner of that continent. As we speak, collaborative research and training for abusers in domestic violence situations is being planned between 2 North Carolina nonprofits and similar Moldovan groups with international funding. North Carolina's solid track record in this area is going to improve the lives of men, women, and children halfway around the world. This partnership was envisioned and funded by the United States Department and the Department of Defense, and paired North Carolina's National Guard with the Republic of Moldova. The partnership matured to include civilian relationships that now include activities by civic and faith-based groups. The personal relationships between the participants have fueled the strength of this partnership, and it's good for America. Why is it good for us? Well, just look at the map. Moldova is bordered by Romania, Ukraine, and the Black Sea. Given recent news, the United States of America is very well served by having a great friend in that spot. You've now been introduced to the 6 strategic areas on which we've agreed to focus. North Carolina will be the very first state in the nation to have a coordinated strategy for positive global engagement. I hope you're all committed to this project and invite you to roll up your sleeves and join in. Thank you.